Okay, so before going through my slide, wait, is this the button? Oh no, it's not. Wait, it is? This one?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Okay, before going to my slides, I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Anaq Duanaiko, and Anaq is my family name, and Iko is my nickname. And I graduate from sociology. I studied sociology, and I am currently a researcher in Center for Digital Society. So I see the social science part or the social sides of the digital world, and which is like it's quite rare to see technology in the social side, because there are like a lot of stuff that we need to see in this social side of the digital technology advancement. So before going through my slides, I'm gonna ask you before the next slide, who has phone in this room? Just put. Okay, everyone. So okay, in my slides, I'm gonna need you to pull out your phone because it's gonna be like many QR codes here, so you could also scan it. Is this next? Oh no, it's not. Okay. Okay, so what actually inspired my research? I got inspired by my past research. It's about the penetration of financial services in women in rural areas, mostly on their micro, medium, small enterprises. And yeah, so if you see in page 34, only 32.5, if I'm not mistaken, who has the access to internet, who has the access to digital technology. So, what I mentioned before, my topic is about eradicating the digital divide in the Asia Pacific. Okay, next. Okay, so when we were digging through the data and seeing a very unique data where women do not even use their phones, but they even think that phones make their life complicated. Technology makes them afraid of there will be drastic changes, and there will be disruption on their lifestyle and stuff. And yeah, a quote said by a woman who is if I'm not mistaken, she's 38. She said owning a mobile phone makes my life complicated. I don't understand how to operate one. Okay, please remember this quote because it's going to be on the last slide also. Okay, so what we see here that these moms, they tend to avoid technology, and even they inherit their their perspective on fear of technology to their next generation, to their children. So these findings align with the findings that is founded in DCAP. You can scan again. So DCAP is a report made by UNESCO and Ewha University. So when I read this report, I see that parents also have they rarely teach their kids about technology, and some of them even never teach their kids about technology, and that is quite not surprising for most Asia Pacific countries, because there are still developing countries in it. Okay. Next, okay, the painting might be irrelevant, but that's my painting, by the way. So, what is important here? Educating the older generation and younger generation plays a very big role in solving the digital divide, because we actually need to focus on those who are not receiving the technology well, and those who are inherited to fear technology. That is why we need to educate the most. But how? Because education is not that easy, right? Okay, that's my other drawing again. Okay, so if you scan, for the 4 days I made a curriculum. So the curriculum is very basic. It's adopted from EU's digital competencies. So if you scan this, you'll see, okay, I'll just wait for everyone to scan because it's gonna be one of the important part to see, but I'm gonna put one second of the curriculum after this. Okay, because it's very small, and I swear you cannot read it from there. So I hope you have scanned it and read it on your phone. So these curriculums are still subject to change, where we have to, make it more contextualized to the area of it, because this contextualization is needed to be, very localized, very micro, because these are like regions that are in rural areas. So they are wished to be like very, very, specific to what the people need. Okay, you might see that most of the curriculum is like very basic, like, I can do this, it's like very easy. Well, you can do that, but they cannot, because you are privileged enough to understand this digital knowledge, but they don't. So even like this thing matters, like searching information using a search engine. Well, you could just like type google.com, but they don't even have phones. So how to, tackle that problem? And go to the next slide. I hope you still like open this curriculum. And here we see that informal and formal education is needed. So yesterday I had an interview with Seoul Digital Foundation, and it was surprising that I got arranged to meet the president itself. I was like surprised. It was like great. Thanks AYARF. It was like a very great interview that I did. So the way that I tried to propose, and Seoul Digital Foundation had proposed, we have the same view on like informal and formal education is like very critical. Why informal? Because informal will be directed or like applied to those elderly people, and these elderly people have their own peer group, and this peer group will learn math by math. So we cannot put any online situation in this like informal informal way of education, because they don't even have, or they don't even see the urgency of digital technology. And for the formal, because they're still kids, we have to try to put them offline and online, because they are trying to also be the next user of digital technology. So we have to introduce the utilization of technology and the what brings good. Okay, I'm gonna go next. Okay, so this is the flow after contextualization of the curriculum, which you could also see in the poster there. Okay, so what I see here is that after the contextualization and the informal and formal education is divided, tech companies should also give help to the initiators, and the initiators are academicians, are for the formal and formal education. So, and for the contextualized, as I say, because it'll be educated to the elderly, they will be taught by NGOs and local organizations, so that it'll be more specific and more friendly environment of like peer teaching. And I feel like we cannot do this by only putting academician, government, NGOs, and tech companies as the initiators. That's why I believe that putting a impact investors or even like philanthropy as the funding will be like very, very nice, because they will actually see the outcome. They will see the impact of the digital educating system. So after all of these are done, when the project is like delivered, because most of the developing countries are prone to corruption, we have to actually make sure that every steps are transparent, and the iterative review should be done, because if we don't repeat the review, it's going to be very risky to get there's like corruption in it, because there's like many sectors are combined. So I'm just afraid that it'll be prone for corruption. Okay, so I've been blabbering so much about hard stuff. It's like not, well, I might say it's not the hard stuff, but it's more like imaginative stuff. So what do I want to say? So what's my point? What's the goal of my project? So do you remember this quote? Okay, so what I want to do is, actually it's very simple. It's just this. Owning a mobile phone makes my life easier. This is what I want to address. I want women, rural women, or those who cannot even like access technology, to perceive technology makes their life easier. And thank you. That's all. I have 9 minutes, and this is my poster. You can see it's like a maze. But yeah, I think if there's any feedbacks or questions, please let me know.